This is the WWE Smackdown October 11, 2024 full show results video which takes place at Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. The show opens with a recap of the climactic main event of Bad Blood, featuring the return of both Big Jim Uso and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Big Jim makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he welcomes us to SmackDown and says he's been on the shelf for 6 months, and he was put there by his little brother, Solo Sikoa. But he didn't have the balls to attack him to his face, he got jumped from behind by his bloodline. So tonight, here in South Carolina, it's all about him doing what he's done his entire life, kicking Solo's ass. Then comes Roman Reigns and he says usually your OTC likes to run it systematically, but tonight we're gonna change it up a little, and he asks Greenville to join him in acknowledging Big Jim. He asks the crowd to turn it up and go again, and they oblige and tells Jim that he understands where he's coming from, but he's not an older brother, so he doesn't understand this revenge. And he's not a wise man, so he doesn't come up with creative, manipulative plans. That's not him, he's the tribal chief, and that means he takes what's his, and for 4 years now, that's exactly what they've done. He called his shots and he delivered, and had the money, the power, and the respect, and they had championships around their waists, money coming out of their pockets, buying houses, it didn't matter. He doesn't like where they're at right now. He doesn't like his position, being out of control, and he told us he's the greatest of all time, and he meant it, and he wants us to know when they put the ones up that they are the ones. Uso pipes up to say that they're not, though when he stands here in this ring and he sees a chief with no tribe, no garland around his neck, and at Bad Blood he came back because Roman needed him, not because he asked, and they need help. He knows one person that they can get some help from, to which Reigns says no yeet, and Jim tells him to listen and says he'll forever be his tribal chief, but he's the only one in the family that still acknowledges him, the only one, and Big Jim leaves in silent sadness. Then we saw a match between Carmelo Hayes vs LA Knight for the WWE United States Championship, and the result of this match was LA Knight defeated Carmelo Hayes by pinfall with BFT, retaining the WWE United States Championship. Cody Rhodes runs into Big Jim Uso backstage and thanks him for Saturday, and Jim tells him to consider it a favor and says it's family business and gives him respect for handling his own business. Back from the commercial, Metaphor make their entrance and Kevin Owens interrupts with a microphone in hand, and he says he was told not to come here tonight, and everybody wants to know why he turned on Cody Rhodes when it's Cody that turned on him. His mic gets cut and he grabs a commentary headset. Cody Rhodes comes out. Security and road agents keep them separated, and Randy Orton comes down to calm his friends down. He goes in the ring with Kevin and ends up knocking him down out of frustration, and KO backs off clutching his mouth, upset. Then we saw a match between Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill vs Metaphor, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, and the result of this match was Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defeated Metaphor by pinfall with the wheelbarrow DDT and wheelbarrow suplex combination on Jakara Jackson, retaining the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Back from the commercial, Randy Orton tells Cody Rhodes to calm down, get on his bus, and get out of here, while he talks to Kevin Owens, and Nick Aldis reminds him he needs him to preserve himself for Crown Jewel, and finally Cody assents as Randy promises he'll fix this. Aldis has a chuckle about Randy Orton, voice of reason, and pats him on the back on his own way out of here. Then Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton makes their entrance, and Nia gets on the mic and gives credit to Bayley for a hell of a fight last week. She even broke a sweat. But just like every worthy contender she's found, she ended up on her back, realizing that nobody on this planet can beat her. She's going to annihilate Liv Morgan just like she did Bayley, and then Tiffany is going to cash in on her. Then comes Naomi and she says the only reason Jax retained is her broken down Barbie helped her. Nia asks if she's here to challenge her one-on-one or to get beat in a tag match. Naomi says she doesn't need anyone's help and she'll beat her here and now. Nia calls for a referee and Ryan Tran answers, but then comes Raquel Rodriguez, followed by Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Liv says she's actually a little upset because they came here to make an example of Nia, but she has her hands full, so instead they're gonna hang out and watch her lose her match just like she's going to lose at Crown Jewel. The next match happened between Nia Jax vs Naomi, and the result of this match was Naomi defeated Nia Jax by pinfall with a Tenryu powerbomb when Raquel runs interference, Liv with cheap shots with the briefcase. Post-match, Rhea Ripley is here and lays Raquel out, chasing after Liv, but she runs into Nia in the ring. Rhea boots Jax down and takes Morgan down for punches before turning to blast Dom off the apron as Judgment Day get away. Carmelo Hayes is walking backstage with a bag of ice on his head and complains to Nick Aldis about losing his title match. Aldis says last time he checked, he and Andrade are tied at 3 wins each, and the winner of match 7 may just find themselves in line for a United States Championship match. Legado del Fantasma roll up on Nick, and Santos Escobar says he sees a pattern here with Andrade and Carmelo having a permanent spot in the title line. All this reminds Escobar he came up short when he got a title shot, and he's just waiting for him to bounce back, and Santos says he's not just talking about himself, but about Elektra Lopez and Los Garza. Nick says Los Garza have a match next week against a team he's hand-selected for them, and if they can get through them, they'll be worthy of a title shot, and Escobar says he won't regret it, and Aldis says he might. Solo Sikoa cuts a promo holding the garland of the tribal chief. He says Jim might be his bigger brother, but he's the tribal chief and he will acknowledge him. DIY and Street Profits are bickering backstage, and Nick Aldis tells them sorry, but that was their shot, and he's got a new team coming in next week. This sets off a fresh round of bickering, and eventually Nick runs off, and we see that he's caught Kevin Owens kicking the hell out of Randy Orton, and he calls for security to try and separate them. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Big Jim Uso versus Solo Sikoa, and the result of this match was Solo Sikoa defeated Jimmy Uso by pinfall with the Samoan Spike when Jacob Fatu made the interference for Jim. Post-match, Gorillas of Destiny beat Jim Uso down, but Roman Reigns makes the save. He clears the ring and starts trading hands with Solo, but Jacob Fatu cuts him off. Hip Attack blasts him. Big Jim back in the ring, Fatu with a super kick, diving moonsault connects, and Tama and Tonga are at it with the OTC again, hits Samoan Spike to Roman Reigns and leaves. Jim and Roman recover, Uso telling Reigns we need him as the new Bloodline put their ones up, and the show goes off the air.